Who is the Hetman? A shadow figure, a ghost, or maybe something darker, a demon perhaps? Since this phenomenon is so widespread, it's almost certain that you've heard of it. The so-called Hetman is a phantom that often appears to people, a tall shadow recognizable by his hat and theoretically the cloak he wears. Many say they feel no fear when they see this figure, while others believe that this character is the devil himself. Like the old hag, the Hetman is a global phenomenon experienced by thousands of people. Many people don't even realize how widespread this entity is until they personally seek it out. They say the dead rest easy, but some lies echo louder than the truth. In the shadows, where history slips into myth, something stirs, unseen, but not unfelt. You cross the line now. Welcome to Hauntings and Beyond. The Hetman himself may sound strange, and many people find it hard to believe his story until they experience it for themselves. Unlike most ghost hunting tools that can document supernatural events, there is no tool that can actually capture the appearance of the Hetman. But if you spend enough time in certain corners of the internet, you will eventually come across the strange stories that are told about the Hetman. Unlike his internet counterparts, the Hetman seems actually very plausible, or at least more than just a virtual legend. Many people have asked on the internet forums, has anyone else seen the Hetman? Many people thought that this phenomenon did not appear to others, a kind of one-off, isolated event. But they were surprised to see how widespread this phenomenon is, and what is even more strange, that reports have appeared all over the world. The Hetman has indeed been seen everywhere. However, despite this, it is not really known who he is. Interdimensional figure, observer, myth, ghost, or sleep paralysis demon. Perhaps the last one is the most acceptable answers for some people, but the only thing we know for sure is that the Hetman crosses boundaries and different time periods. There is a blog on the internet dedicated to people writing about their own experiences. But there the question arises, if the Hetman is really a sleep paralysis demon, then how did so many people see it? And how do their description match up even though these people live on the other side of the world? The interesting thing is that on this blog we can find thousands of reports of all over the world. Since ancient times, people have seen strange lights and figures, especially during sleep paralysis. According to many descriptions, these people felt as if someone was pressing on their chest. It was difficult to breathe, and they felt if an alien or like a goblin figure was holding them or sitting on them. At one time, these people even believed that these demons were responsible for this phenomenon, such as the Hetman. Throughout history, people have reported a nightmare figure who was described as paralyzing them with fear and who squeezed the air out of them because they were sitting on their chest. The phenomenon is known as a shadow person, a concept in which believers believe it is a spirit, but researchers still talk about sleep paralysis. Who is right is up to each person to decide. But it should also be taken into account that many religions, legends, and belief also report some kind of shadows, shadow figures, or supernatural entities. However, they do not report whether these beings are good, bad, or something in between. What we do know about the Hetman is all thanks to the people who have described this entity. They were saying that this was watching people from the doorway, corner of the room, or closet. Most people say that this is all that happens to them, nothing more. Others, however, claim that the Hetman had approached them or hovered over them thus reinforcing the belief that he is nothing more than a sleep paralysis demon. Still others have claimed that they have seen the Hetman during the day when they were wide awake and going about their daily business. Still others have said that they have seen the Hetman appear when they have experienced traumatic events before or after. However, the Hetman does not touch its so-called victim. This phenomenon is most often seen in bedrooms while the person is getting ready for sleep or just waking up. But the Hetman can appear anywhere, even in broad daylight, and even when the person is not alone. And his appearance is always the same, or only minimally different in the descriptions. According to these descriptions, the Hetman is more male-looking than anything else, a dark phenomenon similar to shadow people. The Hetman got his name from his unmistakable hat, which everyone who has seen him describes. In addition to his hat, he also wears some kind of coat or cloak. Some described him as having red eyes, while others say that, like his clothes, only outlines are visible, so his face and facial features are not visible at all. Regardless of all of this, the appearance of the Hetman in all description is incredibly similar. This phenomenon appears in people's bedroom all over the planet, looking at them from doors, from the closet, or from even the corner of the room, as people stand on the verge between sleep and wakefulness. Records of the Hetman spread across the internet in the late 2000s, gaining widespread attention, later inspiring a documentary and a website called The Hetman Project, dedicated to people sharing their experiences with the Hetman. The Hetman is said to be a modern version of the Shadow Man. Rolling Stone magazine says that the entity has become a dominant character in digital culture. The growing number of descriptions on the internet has given strength to this myth too. This phenomenon has gained a lot of online fame in recent years, helped by the fact that more and more people have been describing their experiences since 2001, especially since that same year, Timothy M. Brown Jr. launched the already mentioned The Hetman Project to learn more about this phenomenon. One leading theory is that the Hetman is a kind of shadow man, a paranormal phenomenon that appears in people's peripheral vision. Interestingly, many people think of these entities as evil, while others see them as beings who watch over those who notice them. So what is Hetman? A demon, a mischievous ghost, a kind of guardian? No one really knows, nor why this entity is being seen by people all over the world, but many people are looking for normal answers instead of paranormal ones. Science. Some people wonder if the Hetman could be a common psychological phenomenon, something in the human mind that allows us to interpret these strange experiences in a similar way. For many people, the Hetman is a demon that has risen from the underworld to harm people. But users on online platforms such as 4chan and Reddit think otherwise. They believe that the Hetman appears because people have taken too much of a certain antihistamine, which people use to treat colds and allergy symptoms, and which is also found in Benadryl. This theoretically causes hallucinations, which includes shadow figures. And this form of the Hetman is therefore aptly named the Benadryl Hetman. But theoretically, not only that, but a bunch of other things can bring out the Hetman, including caffeine. But many people believe that there is another explanation for this phenomenon. It is nothing more than that the Hetman is a sleep paralysis demon. This condition appears when a person begins to wake up and thus consciously recognizes their surroundings, but is still in a temporary paralysis that appears so that our bodies won't act out our dreams. This is actually our body's defense mechanism called muscle atonia. Finding the causes of sleep paralysis is tricky and can be caused by many things, including family history, stress level, harmful habits, addictions, certain mental illnesses, but even physical health conditions can bring about this so-called entity. But what are these sleep paralysis demons? Nightmare-like hallucinations often appear with this condition. This phenomenon was already talked about in the Middle Ages, but these were sex-crazed demons who took advantage of their innocent frozen victims. There's an idea that the word nightmare originally came from the word nightmare, which usually referred to female demons who sat on someone's chest to strangle them. In fact, it can be traced back even further to a Mesopotamian legend from 2400 BC, the story of Lilith. Writer Ryan Hurd, founder of Dream Studies, described the Judaic Lilith as a half-human demon with owl legs who would abduct men at night to give birth to a half-human, half-demon creature. Greek physician Paulus Agineta from the 7th century believed that sleep paralysis was caused by Pan, a faun-like god who jumped on people's chests. But let's go back to the modern era. If the Hetman is really a hallucination or a sleep paralysis demon, why is it that the description is the same all over the planet? Everyone describes this phenomenon the same way. Even those who have experienced it before have read anything about it. And yet the description is the same. How is this possible? Well, theoretically, there is an explanation for this too. Some people believe that the Hetman is a subconscious embodiment of characters we see in pop culture, such as various horror films, especially from not too long ago. Cultural beliefs can also influence people's experiences by what they actually see during sleep paralysis or in a dark bedroom. As you can see, the story of the Hetman is not just an urban legend, but a strange phenomenon that affects thousands of people around the world. Whether it is a common supernatural being, a sleep paralysis demon, or simply a figment of the imagination, one thing is certain: despite how widespread this entity is, very little is known about it. What is its purpose? Why it appears is all unknown. Only its appearance is consistent and known. Whether it is reality, a common subconscious fear, or something else, everyone must decide for themselves. One thing is certain: sometimes there is more lurking in the shadows than what we first think. Some spirits whisper, others scream. But every haunting leaves a trace. Some are seen, and some are just felt. Until we meet again in the quiet beyond. My name is Creeps. Thank you for listening.